So Lebanon could be the next Gaza in more ways than one. We've talked about the tunnel cities of Gaza. Well, such cities also exist under Lebanon, especially southern Lebanon. Hamas built the tunnels in Gaza and Hezbollah built the tunnels in Lebanon. It balances the military equation. You see, Hezbollah cannot match Israel's firepower, so they rely on unconventional tactics like using tunnels for sneak attacks. And Israel knows this, which is why their military is targeting these tunnels. One of them was destroyed on Tuesday.
Our forces are operating and locating dozens of underground fighting infrastructures that do not penetrate the territory of the country. We are investigating and destroying them. Tonight we have updated that we have located and neutralized a tunnel about 25 meters long which crossed about 10 meters of the fence from the Marwan area in southern Lebanon near the territory of the State of Israel in Zerah.
A cross-border tunnel. It starts from Marwahin in southern Lebanon and ends in Israel's Zarit. Total length around 25 meters, that's all. Now you can see why Israel is targeting them. These tunnels allow Hezbollah to sneak into Israel, perhaps carry out surprise attacks. That's what Hamas did on October 7th. They used the tunnels to sneak in undetected from Gaza. So Israel says we must prevent a repeat. Which got us thinking, how big is this tunnel network? Who built it and can Israel really destroy it? Well, the network is quite large. Reports say hundreds of kilometers long. Don't think of them as your normal city tunnels. They're more complicated. There are multiple levels of tunnels, multiple intersections and large staging areas. So it's less of a tunnel and more of an underground city. You have command centers inside, Iranian missiles inside, and hideouts for top leaders, all of them in these tunnels. Some of them are wide enough for trucks to drive on. Hezbollah released a sneak peek in August. Take a look at this. Most of these tunnels are in southern Lebanon, like we said, which is Hezbollah's stronghold. It allows them to be close to their main enemy, Israel. But these are the new tunnels. The old ones are more basic, barely wide enough for fighters to walk through. And what do they look like? Well, let me introduce the Hezbollah Museum, and I promise I'm not making this up. In the year 2010, Hezbollah launched a tourist attraction center. One of the items on display was this tunnel. It's around 200 meters long. The old ones date back to the 1980s. Hezbollah constructed them with help from an unlikely partner, North Korea. The Koreans had dug tunnels during the Korean War of 1950. It protected them from US bombing. That expertise was passed on to Hezbollah. Thus, the first round of digging began. It gained momentum after the 2006 war with Israel. That's when Iran ramped up assistance and special companies were set up for construction purposes. Now, the old tunnels were mainly meant for fighters. They could rest and evade capture. The new ones are home to Hezbollah's arsenal. Most of their Iranian missiles are stored inside these tunnels. And the logic is quite simple. Hezbollah doesn't have the luxury of an iron dome, like Israel does. They can't leave missiles out in the open. If they do, Israel will destroy them. So what's the solution? Store them underground in tunnels. In fact, Iran does the same. You may have seen videos of their so-called underground missile cities. The concept is pretty much the same. Since Iran has more money, their tunnels look better. The question then is, can Israel destroy them, these tunnels? Can they destroy them? In Gaza, they've had partial success. Some of the Hamas tunnels have been destroyed. But every week, there is a new discovery. After all, it's a 500-kilometer network in Gaza. In Lebanon, it could be even more difficult. And that's because of the terrain. Gaza's tunnels are dug into the sandy soil. But in Lebanon, the tunnels are dug into rocky mountains. Hard to find, harder to destroy. Which is why Israel has deployed soldiers. They're basically combing across the terrain, looking for entrances to these tunnels, and sometimes with success. Look at this footage that was released yesterday. It shows Israeli soldiers discovering a tunnel shaft inside a house. tunnel warfare is not new. It emerged in the 9th century BC. In modern times, it's been used to great effect. In Vietnam, the communists used tunnels to beat the Americans. In Korea too, tunnels again kept the Americans at bay. In West Asia, this is just the latest theatre. It's a tactic used to level the playing field, especially against a far superior enemy. The difference is that Israel knows what to expect. And they're not taking prisoners. In Gaza, Israel tried to find the tunnels first, but when they could not, they simply bombed the entire buildings. Will they do the same in Lebanon? The indications are it could be worse.
Firstpost decodes the U.S. election. Explains how America chooses its president. Your primer on the race to the White House. Everything you need to know about how America votes and its global implications. U.S. Election Explained. Every Monday and Thursday only on Firstpost.